Hey guys, how's it going? I'm doing a very quick drawing here. I don't know if you can tell from the paper or not, but this is duo shade paper. I guess I should say first, can everybody hear me okay? Haven't done one of these streams in a while. Anyway, I'm inking this thing for, we're planning to do a little bit of a demo with this duo shade paper. And I thought, why not ink this live? You know, a lot of what I've been working on lately, I have not been able to broadcast. So I thought you guys might enjoy this. I'm planning to ink this all with this brush and, like I said, relatively quickly. So we'll get in and out and see how this turns out. I started inking it and then decided to turn on the stream. So we'll see how this goes, everybody. And I'm not actually doing using the duo shade today. Ed and I are both planning on making a video with that. I should give a shout out to Eric Reynolds from Fantagraphics. That's who hooked me up with this duo shade paper. At least I think that's it. He sent it to me some time ago. And I'm finally getting around to trying it. So thanks for that, Eric. I'm hoping that the duo shade is very forgiving. So, you know, that's another reason if I'm inking a little bit quick or maybe not giving it as much detail as normal, that's part of the reason why too. This is a kind of a new experience. Don't want it to be too precious. This paper's pretty interesting. If you've ever worked with it, there's just a little bit of a tooth. I don't know if that's from the chemical, but there's just a little bit of something on the surface of it. Creates not quite a smooth finish. Yeah, this brush is not my best. It's a Raphael 8404 size 2, and the reason, it's a really good brush, but the reason it's not my best is it's been worn down. I saw somebody mention, you know, it's very fine, and number 2 is pretty fine to begin with, but as they wear down, bristles come out, and it just becomes, I don't know. Eventually, it'll lose its ability to hold any kind of point or any snap, and this one's getting pretty close to that, but it's what's handy. I haven't been doing a lot of brush inking lately, so it is what it is. I'm a big believer in the poor craftsman blaming his tools. Jack Yo, here's the reason that I ink with a brush. Whenever I was just starting out, I think it was whenever I got How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, they have a little section of tools. And, you know, they have pen nibs, Hunt 102s, sable hair brush, stuff like that. And I was young enough that I wasn't going to, you know, pay $25 for a brush. So I bought pen nibs that looked kind of like, you know, a Hunt 102. I mean, it wasn't a Hunt 102, and there are differences, obviously. And I bought a couple of very cheap, like, nylon brushes that cost $1, $2, something like that. And, you know, Higgins ink, probably, you know, the crappiest of all inks, or at least the thinnest. And then I would just try inking in my sketchbook. And again, it was like I was 12. These are very cheap art supplies that I have, and nothing worked. And especially the pen nibs didn't work. The pen nibs would catch on every fiber of the page. You know, the paper was almost like construction paper, so it was extremely porous and just the wrong paper, the wrong ink tools, everything wrong. And I was so frustrated by the pen nibs that I felt like I just could not use a pen nib. So I spent all my time with a brush for a long time, and eventually I got, you know, better brushes. And at that point, like, if you could figure out how to, I don't even want to say passably ink, although I had my first published work before I ever got inking with one of those cheap brushes, before I ever bought a real sable hair brush. But I basically learned to use a brush because I just thought I could not make a pen work. And I've told this story a million times, but I fell in love with Dave Cooper's Weasel. And whenever I had a chance to talk to him, we were talking about tools. And at the time, he was inking and drawing a lot with the Hunt 102 pen nib, even lettering that book. And I was so impressed with how it looked. It was like, well, I'm going to have to try this pen nib again. And sure enough, if you buy a couple of Hunt 102s and you get one that works, it's a very different story than what I had started out trying to use. So, you know, just ink with a brush for a long time, and I'm sure that you will pick it up. The brush is a very versatile tool, obviously. You can see like super fine lines that are coming out of this, as well as the thicker lines. Great for texture variation, good for value, good for speed. And it can be a very precise instrument. I'll defer to point you at Charles Burns for proof of that, but definitely you can do, you know, almost anything with the brush. I don't think I've ever inked any of Ed's drawings. The logo for Cartoonist Kayfabe, we both drew, but we drew like I drew my self-portrait and he drew his, so same piece of paper, but not inking each other's work. One of my first jobs in comics was as an inker. I inked like, I don't know, almost 20 issues of American Virgin for Vertigo. That was a very fun job. Most of that was inked over Becky Cloonan, whose work I admire, and it was a good team all around. Fun job to do. Siegel's always been a nice guy to me. I don't know him well, but I've always gotten along with him the couple of times that I've seen him anywhere. Toon Grump. I will probably definitely do more Street Angel at some point. I'm booked up for a little while, but yeah, I've often talked about this character. She's a ninja on a skateboard. Like, it's kind of, I created this character to be able to draw virtually anything I want. So yeah, I'm sure I will do more Street Angel, assuming I live long enough. I co-write Street Angel with Brian Maruka, and we constantly send Street Angel ideas back and forth. It's always a matter of scheduling more than anything else. Yeah, a couple of you guys are asking about the Duo Shade. This is Duo Shade paper, and I am drawing this in order to do a demo on the Duo Shade. I've never actually used Duo Shade before. So, yeah, assuming that nothing major goes wrong, that will eventually find its way onto the channel. But that's what this drawing is. That's the intent for this drawing. Third Pulse. I was reading a few sports mangas. Oh man, I don't know, last year, a year before. Whenever I had worked a little bit on, I was going to do a comic about cross-country running, like a high school cross-country running team. And so I was looking at sports mangas. I don't know if I was looking at sports mangas first, and that's what made me want to do one, or if I started looking after I had this idea. But either way, I was reading a few, and you know, slam dunk, stuff like that. The stuff that you've heard of is all I've had access to. Honestly, I liked probably all the sports manga that I tried, which were mostly the big titles. The basketball ones were really good. I read a volume 1 about one that was volleyball that was excellent. You know, I know nothing about volleyball, so I was really impressed by the manga because part of the storytelling in the first volume was explaining strategies and things, but also within the context of very competitive games and competitive players. That impressed me a lot, made me kind of think like, it's definitely a genre that I think has a ton of potential, and I'm surprised there aren't more American sports comics. You know, a lot of young people play sports, a lot of school teams, so you would think that it's not too far of a jump from YA and manga into sports comics, but I don't know, there aren't that many that I can think of that are American. But the sports mangas that I've seen, I've enjoyed, and I have Real Volume 1 sitting here, which is basketball. It's I forget who the artist is, but it looks really cool and super dynamic, so I expect it to be good. I've been reading Ping Pong, Matsumoto's Ping Pong, that just recently came out in English, and he did Tekken Kincrete, if you're unfamiliar with him, which is one of my favorite comics. And the Ping Pong book is amazing because, like, the ping pong, it's like something out of, I don't know, Matrix or something, you know, like it's extremely intense, incredible angles, you know, it's very, very dynamic. And I was excited whenever Viz put out the English version of that. So 2 volumes, it's probably 1,000 pages or close to it. And just, you know, a bunch of competitive high school dudes playing ping pong against rival high schools and things like that. So it's pretty fun if you're looking for sports manga. I would highly recommend Ping Pong. Thanks, Eli. Yeah, the running book that I had been working on was going to be much more narrative than my running journal. And I don't know. Hopefully I'll get back to it one of these days. That's the problem with comics is you have a million ideas, but they take a while. So you just have to keep thinking about them and work on the one that's in front of you. Oh no, you guys, I think I have to cut this short. I have a visitor. Sorry to do this to you. Maybe I'll come back, maybe not. In any event, it was good seeing all of you. And stay tuned to Cartoonist Kayfabe because this is going to go under the Duo Shade video that we are working on. So this will be coming up soon. See you later.